All you can do is fish till the last second, catch everything you can, and you let the cards fall where they fall.
He is a 4-time Bassmaster Classic qualifier. This is 9th Bassmaster Top 10 from Colgate, Oklahoma, Luke Palmer. 25 pounds, 15 ounces, 25-15. Hold them high and get loud, South Carolina. Palmer prevails, his very first Bassmaster Elite Series title on Championship Sunday. He is a Bassmaster Elite Series champion. Big bass, a big stage, a big dream.
Still does not register for me. I never really thought I'd be doing this at all in my lifetime. I really thought I'd be at the hardware store, which would be 100% fine, but getting a win, I think, helps soothe that mind of mine to where I say, maybe fishing's where it's going to be at.
Guys, I want to start off, the one and only, praise God for what we're getting to do, guys. I mean, that is the dire need. Like, we've got to understand that, because without him, nothing's possible. But second, guys, girls, you got to thank your parents for what they sacrifice, but they do get some enjoyment to watch y'all do this. But what they do, guys, one of these days we get old and you'll understand and be like, thank you, Mom and Dad. I mean, that's the biggest thing. If it wasn't for my dad, I wouldn't be where I'm at. My mom, too, she's always supported me, but that's the main thing, guys. If you can get out of anything of it, God and your family has got to be your two number one priorities. A lot of you have kind of known some of my story, but if you haven't, my family's had a hardware store. I've grown up in it. I started fishing tournaments with my dad when I was 11. I think we probably had some high school and college stuff going when I was going through school, but I didn't ever get involved in that. We didn't have one in Colgate where I was at, so I didn't get to enjoy the fellowship of the younger guys and stuff with me, so I had to play basketball and baseball for that. But I got thrown to the wolves when I was 11. We had a couple of good tours back home that me and my dad went to fish, and he said when I was 11, he would take the boat to the first spot, and after that, he was like, get up, it's your time. So we donated a lot of cash for a couple of years doing that. It definitely, we got beat a lot, and to understand that never give up on yourself. It was easy to do because I could have said to heck with this. We haven't done good. I was young, very young, to take off after guys been fishing for 15, 20, 30 years together. It was a tough pill to swallow. Because we got beat like drums. But thankful Dad, he never gave up on me, and he was always patting me on the back. He was a little hard on me, but he wanted me to succeed and do well in life. And fishing was that aspect right off the bat to do it with. It's no different in basketball or baseball. You're a three-point shooter. You miss 7 in a row, don't quit shooting, because that 8th one might be the game winner. You can never quit, But, as I went on through school and everything, when I was a senior, I bought my first boat because my dad also said, you're going to start mowing grass when you're 11. So I had me 15 or so yards till I was 16 years old, and I bumped up to around 30 to 35 yards that I mowed every week. I would get out of baseball practice in the spring, and I figured out what yards I could mow at that had street lights, because I didn't have any lights on my mower, so I'd be mowing till 10 or 10:30 every single night. So when Saturday and Sunday rolled around, I was on the water somewhere. It was something I loved. It drove me to be the best that I could possibly be with the talent that I was given. Fast forward a little bit, went to college. I didn't fish in college. I was still fishing team tournaments with my dad. I went to Murray and Tishomingo in Oklahoma. It's just 2-year school. We didn't have fishing there, so I just kept fishing the team tournament deals with my dad, and we were very successful. We done a lot of good together. It's probably because I was fishing about 4 or 5 days a week. That might have helped. I didn't miss class for it, so don't let that confuse you. But I finally got to fish in the Opens, and my first year fishing the Opens, I was sitting third in the points to make it to the Elites. Well, after day 1 of the third tournament, I was leading the points. And all I could think was like, how am I going to come up with the money to fish the Elites next year? That was my main goal, because I was like, it's already set. All I've got to do is catch 10 pounds. This is ball game over. Well, guess what? Luke didn't catch 10 pounds. I missed the Elites by, I don't know, it was 8 or 10 points, which is not very much over an entire year. But God's plan is a lot more important than my plan. And I was not mentally ready at that point in my life to fish against those guys. Next year, I didn't get to fish the Open. Some stuff came up at the hardware store. I was still working at the hardware store also. And the next year, I got to fish them. But in that year's time that I was off, I made the ABA Nationals. Well, lo and behold, I was able to win the Nationals that year. That gave me enough money to back off and say, okay, I've got 2 kind of debt-free years to fish against, because I was able to win. It's $100,000 you win in that one. Like I said, that blessing in disguise, I made the elites that year. So, you know, whenever you think that things aren't going your way or you kind of get down at what you're doing, keep believing in yourself. Don't quit. You know, after me missing the elites that first time, I was like, I'm not good enough to do this. There's no way. I mean, those guys, they're exceptionally good. I mean, and they catch them from north to south, east to west. It's amazing how good these guys and how fast they can come up to a lake and figure out how to catch 20 pounds at the drop of a hat. But, you know, it's one of the deals that I kept my head up, kept going, I kept driving, and I wanted it so bad. Made the elites, and obviously I wanted to win my first year, wanted to win the first tournament, wanted to win a classic. And guys, it's tough. I mean, very rare do you have an opportunity to get yourself to win. Me and Joey were talking on the way in. If you can have one tournament a year on the elites that you have an opportunity to win, that's big. And for it to happen, if you have multiple times, it's even more of a, you know, things are going your way. Every year I've had a chance to win, and I wasn't able to get it done. And it was going through my head like, hey, you know, I'm good on a 2 or 3 days, and I just can't get it done on that 4th day. Well, you know, everything worked out. Last year, Santee Cooper, almost the same thing, same area, same bait, same rod and reel, same setup, everything. And the north wind blew, and I knew in my mind when I went out on day 4 that I thought I had opportunity to win, but it wasn't going to be as special. This year, everything lined up for me, and it was God's timing. And, you know, I go and I crack them real well. You know, I was able to win. I mean, everything worked out. I mean, I pulled up on one tree pretty much, and I caught almost 25 pounds off of one tree. That doesn't happen very often, especially not in our part of the world. It doesn't happen. But, you know, whenever you can win, I had some guys, good friends that I met in South Carolina. They all drove up just to watch the weigh-in. I mean, you know, my family's always all the way back here in Oklahoma. Weren't able to come up, which would have been outstanding for them. But I know their love and support was all right there. They were probably more nervous about it than I was. So when you have that support for your family, you got friends from all over, and they're calling, texting you, it means the world. But it was one of those deals that you can't ever give up. I mean, you know, you hear people talk about that, just, you know, keep your head up, keep going. But it can come down to literally one cast, 1 second, and everything can change for you that quick. You know, I've always been a firm believer of that, but God's timing is always the right time. If I would have won my 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th year, it wouldn't have been special. I mean, it would have been, don't get me wrong, I would have loved it. But when it happened at the right time for me, that was everything. I mean, when you get that phone call from your dad and your mom, you talk about being true to your heart. People who really care about you and want you to do well. I mean, heck, even Aaron called me about it. So, you know, that's a pretty big deal when Aaron calls you about your tournament win. So, but like I said, guys, you got your family, your friends, God, and take care of the people who support you guys. Don't ever discourage them. Stay with them, because they are there 100% behind you, and they are going to take care of you, even when you're on the bottom. My family, my dad, my mom, they're calling me, keep your head up. Do not quit, because it is going to happen. You know, I was down on myself. I'm probably one of the hardest critics on myself completely. But they never, ever have ever discouraged me about something, said to me, I should be doing something or should be doing that. They're always 100% behind me, just like each and every one of your parents are.
I know that you got a special prize you're going to give away, right?
Yeah, it's something kind of near and dear to me. So it was something special for me. I mean, I've thrown falcon rods my whole life. They're based out of Oklahoma, and that's kind of near and dear to me. But this is one of those rods that I've used throughout my entire career. When I was younger, this is one of the first higher dollar rods I ever bought. And, you know, it stayed with me for a long time. So let's go. No, I want to give that one out to somebody. It is something I actually use this rod for when I won at Santee. So.
And I believe you've also done some signing.
Yeah, it's got some signing on there. So.
So let's do this.
Let's see who can have this one out.
Tell me anything you'd like to tell him there.
This rod here is something special to me because that's one action that I've used my entire life. I mean, it's like I said, it's something that's because I'm a flipper and a pitcher. That's what I've always done, throwing jig. I caught him on a woolly bug this time. Well, I caught him last 2 times at Santee on it. So that rod's definitely swung. I think it actually caught me the 9-4 last year, and it caught me I don't know how many 6 and 7s and 8s up there at Santee this year. So don't break it.